Coming up, China Tzu Chi volunteers hold winter aid distributions and home visitations in Jiangsu. In an in-depth report, we see how Taiwan's industrial wastewaters have made its way into our food chain. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. We kick off today's show in China's Jiangsu province, where Tzu Chi volunteers traveled to Hongzhe Lake and nearby farming village to conduct home visitations. Seeing local residents' living environment, Tzu Chi volunteers realized the importance to cherish their blessings. But first, let's go to Sihong County, where Tzu Chi's winter aid distributions were joined by recipients of the Twin Lei Scholarship Program.
小朋友注意一下，同学，他们都知道，我都叫他们什么？小朋友。太棒了，是不是自愿来的？是。
This is the scene at a Tzu Chi winter aid distribution in eastern China. These youngsters are the recipients of the Twin Lei Scholarship Program established by the China Children and Teenagers Foundation. Today, they are getting some hands-on experience in helping the needy.
Tzu Chi has been providing us with a lot of help. We're very happy to have the chance to contribute our share and help those in greater need.
I am very happy to have the opportunity to volunteer because this is my first time helping those in greater need. I feel very happy.
Since 2011, Eastern China Tzu Chi volunteers have been collaborating with the Tzu Chi Home Affairs Bureau in Jiangsu province to hold winter aid distributions. However, this year is the first time Tzu Chi has held a distribution in Jiangsu Sihong County. As the distribution plans to help some 15,000 households, Tzu Chi volunteers from Nanjing, Suzhou, Kunshan, and Shanghai traveled to Sihong County to help alongside the scholarship recipients.
It would be great if we can spread Tzu Chi's love through the hands of scholarship recipients to those living on the fringes of society. This is a rare opportunity for them and something that they cannot learn from books.
这个是上人给我们带来的一个慰问跟祝福啊，要给你们过个好年。
To make sure the poor and needy in various areas receive Tzu Chi's aid, Tzu Chi's distributions were carried out in 6 different locations. Also among those assisting at the venue were staff members of different corporations.
At first, everyone felt a little bit tired, but after a while, everyone got very excited. In the end, everyone said that they are not tired at all.
Meanwhile, another group of volunteers arrived in Jiangsu's Hongzhe Lake to conduct home visitations. As most of the residents lived on boats, volunteers carefully made their way to each household. This is Wei Jifang, who has been raising her 3 mentally and physically challenged children on her own after her husband passed away. Volunteers sing the song One Family to cheer up the senior. The volunteers' gesture brings tears to Wei's eyes.
All of you have brought warmth to my heart. Thank you all so much for caring for the old and sick.
At first, the senior was very surprised when the blue and white angels arrived at her doorstep offering love and care.
This family has been living on their own for many years, thus they are not that outgoing. They really want to have someone that can care for them.
They don't have a bathroom. She only uses a bucket and dumps the waste into the river. Seeing her living conditions, I can only say that most of us are much better off.
Traveling from city to the countryside, despite the cold weather, Tzu Chi volunteers insist on bringing their love and care to senior residents in need.
Moving to Taiwan, as January 1st marks the anniversary of the establishment of DaAi TV, every year staff members of the station and Tzu Chi volunteers celebrate the occasion in many different ways, from live recording of shows to getting hands-on experience in recycling. Let's take a look.
To celebrate 16 years of DaAi TV, staff members of different departments are working together to ensure the events of the day go off without a hitch.
We are from the tech department, so we help set up the sound system, microphones, etc. This way, the event can run smoothly.
现场活动能够办得更完美。
Some Tzu Chi volunteers who came early to help with the recording also tried to make best use of their time.
那因为我刚刚稍微找到
I arrived a little earlier, so I asked the person in charge to see if there was anything I could help with. He told me just to look around, and if there are things out of place, adjust them.
Even Zhang Qiyu, an intern from Tzu Chi University, is eager to help. She helps with registration, ensuring those who are here to participate quickly find their assigned seat.
Showing them the way to their seats so they know what they are doing is an important task.
The cake to complete the celebration was put together by the programming department and the receptionist team. On January 1st, staff members are not taking it easy, but instead coming together to hold a grand celebration. Meanwhile, other members of the DaAi TV staff visited a local recycling station to get some hands-on experience in sorting recyclables.
Traditionally, environmental protection is thought of as sorting recyclables and cleaning up the planet. But what the master really wants to spread is a message of the purification of the mind.
Part of the profits from recycling is used to support DaAi TV programming. It's this cycle of turning garbage into gold and gold into love that has inspired more and more people to join Tzu Chi's recycling program. In 2005, Taiwan's Tzu Chi recycling volunteers stood at over 50,000. In 2011, that number had increased to over 76,000. In total, the volunteers have collected over 103 million kilograms of trash in 2011.
Seeing the recycling volunteers' dedication, as staff of DaAi TV, we should strive to be as dedicated in our field. They are purifying the world with their actions, while we purify hearts with our programming.
Understanding the hard work that goes into sorting recyclables, the staff of DaAi TV is sure to not let the recycling volunteers down.
This year, to celebrate DaAi TV's 16th birthday in a meaningful way, staff members of the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center joined the ranks of the volunteers of Tzu Chi's 4 missions. Staff members seized the opportunity to safeguard our planet and also brought care and comfort to the suffering. And looking back on the past year, 2013 can be said to be a year filled with accomplishment and gratifying achievements for the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center.
On January 2013, here at the winter aid distribution in China's Hunan, despite the temperatures being below zero, thousands of local residents arrived to collect their aid for the new year. Each time this year, staff from the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center seized the opportunity to give back, paying for all expenses out of their own pocket. Back in Taiwan, on the eve of Chinese New Year, a parade of volunteers while packing winter aid supplies also packing their warmest blessings.
Opportunity to take part in events like these bring everyone closer together. It helps create harmony within the team, so it's a different kind of reward.
We fast forward to November 2013 when one of the biggest disasters of the century, Typhoon Haiyan, struck the Philippines and claimed more than 5,000 lives. Multinational Tzu Chi volunteers teamed up to conduct disaster relief in the cities of Ormoc and Tacloban and even implemented a cash for work program for residents to restore their communities. There are those who took to the front lines to contribute their strength, and there are those back home who serve as the volunteers' pillar of support. After the typhoon, Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center staff members organized a charity sale to raise funds for the disaster survivors. From pasta to traditional snacks to performing arts, everyone contributed what they could. In total, close to 4 million NT dollars was raised. Not only was 2013 a fulfilling year for staff members, it was also a rewarding year for DaAi TV's children's program. Instilling education into the hearts of children, DaAi TV's children's programs have always received a positive response from the general public.
We offer programs for children from 3 years old to university. Some are about parent-child interactions, others use animation or puppets. We really offer a wide variety of children's programs.
In 2013, for its 9 children's programs, DaAi TV received 19 awards. Such great achievements could not have been possible without effort.
We have programs which motivate, ones which inspire love, and ones which spread the idea of filial piety. These values perhaps lacking in the youth of today, and in fact the most important values of society.
Meanwhile, here at the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, DaAi TV staff and members of the Tzu Chi Performers Association bring their blessings through song to those who are unable to return home for the New Year's. Being here, it's completely different experience to editing shows. We also hope that in the new year, more staff members can set some time aside to take part.
DaAi TV staff members have seized the opportunity while on holiday to volunteer and serve patients. I see smiles on many patients' faces and many hearts of gratitude.
是表现他有很多的笑容，还有很多的感恩哈。
Sometimes we may think that we are here to comfort patients, but in fact, sometimes a patient's smile gives us hope and happiness as well.
大家早安，阿弥陀佛。今天是2014年中华民国103年的元旦。
Early in the morning, everyone is already full of energy as they ready themselves for the day's activity. New Year's is also the day on which DaAi TV celebrates its birthday. To celebrate the occasion, some staff members signed up to volunteer at a hospital, while others practice recycling to safeguard our planet.
透过不同的节目的方式
We hope that while everyone does their part to keep our planet clean, they also practice spiritual recycling.
Staff members have a go at separating the parts of discarded videotapes and find that recycling is in fact not that easy. Meanwhile, also celebrating DaAi TV's 16th birthday are this group of people. As children big and small enjoy the festive atmosphere, Tzu Chi seeds of compassion slowly find their way into the children's hearts, marking this occasion as one with profound significance.
In the Philippines, this is the first New Year since the destruction of Typhoon Haiyan, and while in previous years grand celebrations were held to mark the New Year, this year many could only put together a small festival. However, most disaster survivors say that having their family together after the calamity is already their greatest blessing.
On the streets in Tacloban, Philippines, residents crowd around a truck, hands raised high with money, hoping to purchase some ice.
It's difficult to purchase ice. Right, they only sell it here. We can't buy it elsewhere.
More than half the residents in Tacloban still do not have electricity in their homes. And with the temperatures high, the demand for ice has only grown. Without street lights, vendors do business by candlelight. This vendor wanted to extend his selling hours and set up a generator. Tonight, his entire family is out selling with him.
It doesn't matter if I've sold everything. I will only close up shop at 10.
And then how much is the one pack of tomato sauce? 80. Make it 60.
A Tacloban resident haggles to get the best price, as money is scarce this year, and that means celebrations won't be like in years past.
No more grand celebration just like the previous years, but now even siguro a simple lang 1 or 2 recipe is enough for us. As long as my family is intact, we are celebrating it all together, that's enough for me.
Electricity still has not been restored to many homes in Tacloban like this one.
Oh, yan, nalo ng gas. My smile, yeah, my smile. Every night you have to do this. Yeah, every night.
Mere candlelight is not enough, so this family must light oil lamps to illuminate the house.
Light now. Light now. It's already light.
Very tight.
Yes.
Now with enough light, the family hurries to cook their dinner.
Pepper.
Powder.
Wala, magic sarap.
The family participated in Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program previously, and as a memento, the wife still carries around the card Tzu Chi gave to commemorate the blessings she received.
The financial assistance has been a big help. It's really more blessings for us. Although it's not enough to rebuild our home, yet this money has really helped us a lot. We plan to use it sparingly.
For most Tacloban City residents, their wish for this new year are simple. They hope their children can go back to school and that their lives can return to normal.
Back in Taiwan, the widespread problem of wastewater dumping has not only threatened the biodiversity of our environment, but has also put our food safety at risk. However, despite the long-term efforts from the government, wastewater pollution remains a serious problem in Taiwan. To fight unethical exploitations of the loopholes in environmental regulations, in March 2013, environmental authorities introduced a new water inspection method to help improve the control of water pollution.
All the aquatic creatures here have been exposed to toxic elements. It's just that the oysters show stronger reactions. The presence of green oysters means that the surrounding waters are polluted by heavy metals.
These green oysters are obviously inedible. However, countless poisonous fish that show no signs of contamination have made their way onto the plates of consumers. As this fishing port is close to an industrial zone, environmental inspectors regularly check the water quality here.
The authorities keep looking for heavy metals in the water and will punish polluting companies. However, that's not helping improve the overall water quality.
Despite the government's efforts, the green oyster phenomenon seems to have become even more serious. Studies show that oysters in 7 areas on the west coast of Taiwan are heavily polluted by heavy metals.
Factories use loopholes in the regulations. If a factory discharges acidic wastewater, they just need to add alkali to neutralize their wastewater so that it can meet the EPA's pH standards.
Although meeting EPA standards, the neutralized wastewater is still poisonous. Unfortunately, using chemical data to examine water quality is the only detection method currently available to Taiwan's environmental authorities. To close loopholes, in March 2013, the EPA introduced a new testing method. Scientists now use water fleas, fish, and shrimps to monitor water quality.
We take a water sample from where the wastewater discharges and bring it back to our lab, and then we do some basic tests to determine the water quality.
After the industrial effluents goes through an examination for chemicals, scientists put a vertebrate and an invertebrate into the water sample. 2 to 4 days later, if the creatures are found to have any abnormal symptoms, it means the water is very likely contaminated with toxic elements.
If the test creatures are able to survive within the water sample, it means that the water quality is okay. This method can generate more authentic results than solely relying on chemical data.
The adoption of a biological toxicity testing method has lifted Taiwan's wastewater control to a new level. However, some experts suspect that lab results cannot authentically simulate oxygen levels and temperatures found in the environment. Some environmentalists, therefore, propose another solution.
It requires the collective efforts of a community. Local residents know much better about their river's ecosystem than anyone else, so they can report any inconsistencies.
This collective supervision may be able to prevent wastewater pollution from getting worse. However, only when enterprises abide by environmental regulations and the general public become more aware of the issue will the problem of water pollution be eradicated once and for all.
Prior to Chinese New Year each year, Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide will hold year-end blessing ceremonies to mark the end of the year and to welcome the new year ahead. Such events were recently held at Yangon No. 1 High School in Myanmar, as well as China's Xiamen. At the event held in Myanmar, the nearly 900 participants were eager to donate a little of their love, while the 3,000 residents who took part in the 3 blessing ceremonies in Xiamen's China all gained spirituality and peace of mind. Here at Xiamen's year-end blessing ceremony, Tzu Chi volunteer Ling Pinghua shares with participants her photos before sarcoma began to grow on her face. Faced with the illness and the death of her husband 15 years ago, it was only thanks to the power of Tzu Chi that she was able to lift herself out of the darkness.
Tzu Chi volunteers were there to accompany and care for me through my most difficult times. For that, I am truly grateful.
The love and care of her fellow volunteers gave Ling the courage to live on, and today she hopes to inspire others with her life story. Though the blessing ceremony is held on the first day of the year, many residents still arrive to take part.
We didn't think that all of the some 1,000 seats would be filled up. Even the walkway was packed with participants.
Also attending the event is care recipient Chen Tuanzi, who was born with twisted legs. Upon learning of Yang Xiaodong's successful surgery, however, she finds hope for the future.
Age-wise, you are slightly younger than Xiaodong, so there shouldn't be a problem because you are still growing.
Oh, those around me really care for me, and I really appreciate that.
The stories of love successfully inspire the compassion in participants' hearts. A day before holding their year-end blessing ceremony at the Mayangon No. 1 High School in Myanmar, Tzu Chi volunteers and students worked together to decorate the venue.
When we are cleaning, we use that opportunity to reflect upon ourselves and cleanse our mind. When we wipe the table, it is as if we were wiping the dirt off our soul. Tzu Chi first set foot in Myanmar following Cyclone Nagas in 2008, and since then volunteers have held year-end blessing ceremonies every year. Before the start of this year's event, participants are already waiting eagerly to contribute their love.
I'm only giving what I can. The power of one is limited, but through Tzu Chi we are able to gather that power of love and spread it far and wide.
I take out a bit each day to donate to my bamboo coin bank because what Tzu Chi volunteers are doing is not for themselves, but for all those in need. I would like to do my part to help.
As part of the event, Tzu Chi and onstage volunteers put on a sign language musical for their audience. Participants were also moved after listening to volunteers sharing their personal life stories.
The Jin's aphorism, include me when doing good deeds and exclude me when doing evil deeds, really inspired me. I hope to attend the blessing ceremony come next year. In Myanmar, not many are devoted to charity work, so for Tzu Chi to plant their seeds of love here is a great start.
我们慈济能够在这里这样做呢，是一个最好的一个开始。
Besides receiving blessing and wisdom bread envelopes from Tzu Chi volunteers, the 900 participants on site also prayed together for a world free from disasters. We go back to Taiwan at the end of today's show. Team of medical staff and Tzu Chi volunteers recently visited Keelung and held a free clinic there for their care recipients. As many were unable to make it out of their house, the door-to-door service was a great help to the elderly and sick residents. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.